It is 7 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning. We start this Wednesday. Beautiful morning, 48 degrees, partly cloudy. It feels like 46 outside.
Local information that makes a difference. Here's your regional weather.
Today, becoming mostly sunny with a high of 70 degrees. A south wind will become from the south-southwest this afternoon, picking up just a bit at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, clear, lows in the mid-40s. Thursday, partly sunny, highs in the lower 70s. Rain in the late overnight hours Thursday, lows in the mid-40s. New rain less than 1/10 of an inch, but rain continuing into Friday between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. Temperatures on Friday in the mid-50s. Winds from the east-northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Into the weekend, chances of early rain on Saturday. Otherwise, partly sunny, highs in the upper 40s. And Sunday sunny, temperatures in the lower to mid-60s. Across central Illinois as we start this Wednesday morning. Right now in Bloomington, temperatures at 46 degrees, 49 in Hayworth, 45 in Leroy and Farmer City. It is 44 in Champaign, 43 in Monticello. Right now, 51 in Decatur, 49 in Mount Pulaski, 47 in Lincoln, 50 in Springfield, 42 degrees in Peoria. 48 degrees, overcast in Clinton, feels like 46 outside. South winds are calm, 99% humidity, 10 miles of visibility on this Wednesday. Get the latest in local weather at DeWittDailyNews.com.
From Regional Radio, DeWittDailyNews.com, and the WHOW app. This is local information making a difference.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us on this Wednesday. Coverage of news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Could a third attempt be coming to DeWitt County to try for a 1-cent education sales tax for DeWitt County schools? Tuesday night at the Clinton Board of Education meeting, Superintendent Kurt Nettles offered strictly informational comments to the board regarding this tax. It's been tried twice in DeWitt County and has failed both times.
So it's a sales tax base, so everything in the municipal and county sales tax base is included in this except, and I'm just going to quickly read this. This does not affect cars, trucks, and ATVs, boats and RVs, mobile homes, unprepared foods, so like grocery store stuff, drugs, including over-the-counter and vitamins, farm equipment and parts, farm inputs, services are not taxed anyway. So basically, if it's not currently taxed, it wouldn't be on this.
Nettles stressed his information was not a presentation for moving forward with an initiative to get a referendum on the ballot. He strictly wanted to offer the Board of Education information. He offered what the tax would apply to for area shoppers.
This is not necessarily this is not a presentation tonight to say we're going full force ahead on this. I want to bring up some information about it just to share it real quickly with you, and then if there are any questions or discussion, you can do that. But we have a little time. If you decide you want to do this, we still have a little time to make that happen. So the 1% sales tax, this is a 1% sales tax that you would put on in your county that the revenue from it you would spend on school facilities projects or security or mental health costs.
According to Nettles, the tax can be used for things like facility improvements or tax abatements. He notes it does not go to teacher salaries.
So basically, the use of the sales tax could be used on facilities. That could be new facilities or additions and renovations, technology infrastructure, any kinds of repairs like we've been doing. You could do, like the roof and all that we've done with health, life, safety. You could spend this revenue on that. Even if you want to tear something down, you can use that on that. So anything that gets approved for fire prevention and the health, life, safety stuff, you could use that. So it doesn't go into direct costs for instruction. It doesn't go to salaries. Okay. It doesn't go to those things that we would have covered in other ways. So, that in a nutshell. you can do capital projects with it. You can pay as you go. We're going to do a little bit this year. We're going to wait a couple of years. You can pay with the revenue as you go. You could issue bonds and borrow money and use this revenue to pay it off over a couple of years. You could retire existing debt. For example, we have building bonds for this building and CES that we're still paying on that we actually refinanced not too long ago. You could use revenue from this to pay those off. Not working cash bonds, because we're just using that for savings and rainy day stuff. But you can use the revenue to help pay that off. And guess what that does? If you use it to pay building bonds off, you don't have to levy as much property tax to pay those bonds. All right, so you could reduce property taxes to some extent, or however much you wanted to, or just avoid levying taxes. So,
according to Nettles, the money from the tax follows the students. So whichever district in a county has the most students would receive the majority of the funding, and it's broken down into percentages. Estimates are around $870,000 per year for Clinton schools from this tax.
In DeWitt County, there are some school districts that have a few students that live in DeWitt County. Just, these little nicks and corners and crannies like Blue Ridge, Mount Pulaski, Chester East Lincoln, Lincoln High School, Argenta, Moreau, Forsyth, Leroy, Hayworth, Olympia, even Monticello and DeLand Weldon have some of their students that just live over the line in DeWitt County. And we have kids in Logan County and Macon County. But they have studied the sales tax revenue for counties. And so when we're talking DeWitt County, they've broken that down over the last year, and sales tax revenue went up as things began to pick back up. So what they've done is shown projections. So if you look at all the students that live in DeWitt County, well, most of them, practically all of them are going here or Blue Ridge. But we're 72, almost 73% of students. So the bulk of this goes to us. So whatever the big pie is, we would get almost 73% of that, okay? Their projected amounts is $870,000 in a year, every year, or however the sales tax revenue goes, okay? Just to give you an idea. 6 years ago, this is my 7th year, and I think in the spring of my first year, we put it on the ballot and it didn't pass. They were projecting like $750,000 for our school district, but that's gone up. So it's like, anything, it can go up and down, but so that's a pretty good chunk of money. So they're talking about almost $1.2 million, and of course, getting almost 73% of that. So it's just based on how many kids you have. We get a few $100s because we have a couple of kids in Logan County. I think we have like 5 kids that live in Logan County but come to our district, and Logan County has this in place. So whatever it is per student, that money comes to us. This money follows the student.
Nettles recognizes this isn't the ideal time to be offering something like this to the public due to things like record gas prices and record inflation. He encouraged, if this is something the board wants to do, to pursue, to commit to an education plan for the public.
But you also have to take into account the political landscape right now and the fact that we're paying $1 gazillion a gallon for gas. There are a number of variables at play that I think you guys have to think through and consider. And I would suggest that you think of questions that you have, and I'll track down answers if I don't know them. We can bring people who really know the ins and outs of this really well to come and talk to you all. We can research it further and some of those things, like, I know there's research out there that tells you who votes in a primary versus in a general election, but you do have to take into account voting groups like senior citizens who don't have kids in the schools, are going to watch the money more closely. And that's the group I think you have to reach an understanding with, that here's some great benefits for our kids, and here's possibly an exchange for you to drop your property tax a little bit. So
The first attempt in DeWitt County was nearly a decade ago and failed. Then when Nettles came to the district in 2015, it also failed. He indicates it's a lot of work to commit to an educational campaign and would ask the board be dedicated to that, as he was leading the effort in his first year when it was on the ballot last. He also points out the referendums failed both times by roughly 300 votes. The annual Clinton Community Education Foundation, or CCEF, teacher grants were awarded to Clinton school teachers Tuesday morning. Teachers across the district are encouraged to apply for grant funding through the nonprofit arm of the district to supplement what the district cannot provide, but classrooms need or could use to enhance learning. Abby Youngberg at Douglas Elementary School in Clinton received nearly $800 for math games that equals fun. She explains making learning fun for special education children gets them to interact together while having fun and enhances their math skills.
Well, the title of this actually is for Math Games Equals Fun, and we have a need for more math games to make math fun in school. The more that kids enjoy math, the more that it sticks with them and follows them on through their daily lives. And so I wanted to make sure that we had lots of supplies and good stuff for them to have a good time. I'm actually a special education teacher here. I'm first grade resource, and I'm also the social emotional interventionist here. And my role really is getting across to all the kids their social emotional needs while also accessing their education. And with the fun math games, it gets them interacting together socially, which we lost a lot during the pandemic, and gets them really interacting together while also enhancing their math skills.
Mrs. Angela Ball at Lincoln Elementary School received a grant for $250 for wordless picture books. She says it offers a chance for students to create their own stories and take ownership of those stories. She has found this to be an effective learning method.
I applied for buying wordless picture books for my class. We use them to learn how to read. We also use them to learn how to write. Even though wordless picture books don't have words, the kids start out by just making up the story themselves. And then we carry that on through the whole year of creating our own books and giving them ownership as they created their own story to start with. They didn't have to worry about drawing the pictures, but they can create their own story. Then we add our own pictures and our own story to our own ideas.
Regional Radio earlier this year broke the news of author Dusty Bowling coming to Clinton later this spring. CES librarian Christina Soboralski received her grant for Bowling's visit. CCEF President Russell Long indicates the grant for Soboralski builds on a grant already in place, giving Bowling the chance to stay an extra day and see more students.
I'm super excited because, of course, bringing authors to Clinton has always been my passion. We've been trying to do at least one author every year, and since COVID hit, we've had to kind of course, adjust a few things, but we've been keep going, and the kids are always excited to always actually see authors in person from the books they've actually read. So Dusty Bowling, she's actually flying from Phoenix, Arizona. She lives in Arizona, and a lot of her books have to do with places in the desert. So at the beginning of this fall, we did one book, one school, and all the kids in the school read her first book, Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus. And we did a couple projects and stuff, and they're super excited. And of course, her books have been checked out ever since, besides that one. So super excited.
We actually had Classroom Grant come in a year ago asking for Dusty Bowl, and that was for the junior high. So we awarded the junior high money to actually bring her for the initial visit. And what Christina applied for is allowing her to stay an extra day and see more kids at the other schools.
Oh, cool.
Bethany Kaufman at Clinton Elementary School received a grant to allow her classroom to create a story walk. She explains the kids will pick a book and create displays in the community that will follow the book they pick.
We are going to actually build something for the community. It's called the Story Walk. And I walked through one in Ohio, and then the normal public library started doing them all over. So I walked through those this summer, and I thought, these second graders could totally build one here. Basically, we're going to take a familiar book and we're going to put it all around a place that the kids decide, with extra activities for families to do along with that book. And it's all going to be dreamt up and created by the kids in here. So we'll take the pages of a book, like one I walked through was The Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. So they just kind of got the big book, and there were giant pages around, and you did things with your family from place to place. So you kind of walk on a trail, but it's usually an established trail. So the kids get to decide if that's going to be right here at the school or by the library or at one of our parks in town.
Lori Hubrick and Carrie Klein applied for a grant for their nonverbal or minimally verbal students to communicate with their friends on the playground. Klein notes this will allow them to talk back with their peers on the playground.
Our grant is for a communication board for the playground, which is basically just a bunch of pictures that our nonverbal or minimally verbal kids will be able to go out and press the pictures to communicate their thoughts and ideas, both with staff and their peers out on the playground. The most important part is this gives them a voice to communicate with their peers, for them to have that social interaction and give and take. Right now we have great peers who play with them on the playground, but they don't have a way to talk back. So we want them to express their personalities and their interactions with their peers.
Diana King is going to use a $500 grant to fund field trips she takes for her students in her life skills class. King aims to give students practical experiences and learn basic skills for everyday encounters.
I like to take my life skills students on to different experiences. Like we go to the zoo or to a circus, or we've also gone to a play. I've taken them out for a sit-down meal where they sit at a table and have to order from a menu. And we talk about how to order and how to have good table manners and how to tip. And what other activities have we done? We go swimming. That doesn't cost anything, but that's another activity we do with the life skills students.
Haley Bevins received over $800 for her junior high school science students to create and experiment with volcanoes.
This year, this grant is going to a volcano project. So it's a project I've never done before, and it's where students will be in pairs and they will get to design their own volcano, and then they'll do actually 8 different test trials. And so they'll actually try mixing all these different, like Dawn dish soap with something else, and all different to see which can be the best explosions. It's going to be like paper mache. So we're going to try it this year. So we're going to use kind of like chicken wire, and we're going to use cardboard boxes, and then they're going to make kind of a paper mache around it.
For the last several years, the CCEF has funded junior high school students to go to the Challenger Academy at Heartland Community College. Bevins coordinates those trips each year and explains they received a grant from ADM that has actually funded the trips the past couple of years.
The Challenger Learning Center, it did get canceled this year for the time we were going because of COVID, but we were able to reschedule, and so we are now going May 24th, May 25th, and it's where all the kids get to go. They participate in a simulation for both Mars Academy, like they're going on an actual trip, like they're going like an expedition to Mars, and then the other half is like a Mars Academy. I actually didn't have to use any money from them this year. So ADM has I've applied for a grant the last couple years for about $5,000, and that has helped cover the cost. So the kids go for completely free, no charge at all, and it also covers lunch for them and a full day and we actually go 2 days. So I take about half the kids one day and the other half. So really it's a 2-day experience for the kids, a field trip, because one day we're at the Challenger and then the other day they're here and they're doing space-like activities here, STEM projects here.
Kayla Riedel at Clinton High School received a little less than $100 to fund headphones for her students to improve their typing skills. She estimates kids may use headphones in her classroom for about 15 minutes per day.
So I applied for this grant in order to receive headphones for my students. We work on typing.com and some other resources that it's important for them to be able to hear it as well as visually see it. And so for me, sometimes it's a waste of time for the kids to get out their own headphones, or maybe they're broken or they don't have the ability to get them. So I applied for this so that I could have headphones that are here, easily sanitized, so that we don't have to worry about any of that, and they're always on hand for the kids to use. I would say we typically do typing about 10 minutes each day, so that's at least 10 minutes each day, but there are other days that they may be watching videos on Everfi or something like that, that they're each at their own pace. So without the headphones, each student would be a distraction to each other. So I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes a day, at least within my classroom. Then you have all the times in the hallways that they may want to listen or lunches. So lots of times.
Long says in total around $7,000 was awarded to teachers Tuesday. He says it was great to be back in the schools and see everyone's excited and happy faces when they awarded the grants to the classrooms.
What we do is we ask the teachers to submit ideas for new, exciting ways to enhance learning for the kids that's above and beyond what the school district offers them. And we had a really good amount turned in this year. I think we awarded 12 of them today. We were spread over all 5 schools, so it was great to get into the schools and see everybody and get the awards made. And the teachers really do appreciate all the grants that we do from the Educational Foundation. And I can't even tell you right now how much we've spent total since we started doing this, but today we did about $7,000 worth of grants. It was great. We really at the foundation have really had to change the way we do things for the past couple of years. We haven't been able to be in the buildings and helping out as much as we like. So it was great. You saw we had a pretty good sized party that we were going through the building with to award the grants today. And we really appreciate you coming with us and talking to the teachers also.
Long points out some teachers that have applied for grants long enough are going to begin to receive annual funding for their projects so they don't have to keep applying for teacher grants year after year. It's 28 minutes after the hour here on this Wednesday morning. We'll wrap things up on the morning show coming up on the WHOW Morning Show.
New trucks and SUVs are coming here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. This is Scott Baum. Yes, we have new inventory arriving, and you can see what will arrive right on our website. Just click on the pre-order and reserve tab. From there, you will find vehicles in transit and vehicles in production. Or just call our sales staff and we'll help. Find Silverados, Equinoxes, Blazers, including Tahoes and Suburbans, as well as our complete Buick line of SUVs. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
Top of the morning, it's 29 minutes after the hour here on this Wednesday. Coverage of news this morning is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton.